The case of Sugath Nishanta Fernando, assaulted by officers of the Negombo police station. Sugath Nishanta Fernando had complained about bribery by a police officer, and that officer was charged by the Commission on Bribery and Corruption. The case was pending, and there was pressure to stop Fernando and his wife from giving evidence in the case. On the 12th November 2007, a police squad arrived in jeeps, motorcycles and three-wheelers and surrounded Fernando's house. They assaulted him with fists and kicked him when he fell on the floor and trampled him until he fell unconscious. They also hit his wife with a pistol on her forehead and also trampled her even after she fell to the floor. They slapped around the young daughter, and one police officer tried to remove her blouse despite her struggles. She was dragged to the police jeep, and another officer tried to lift her blouse. When she screamed, she was beaten. She shouted from the window, asking someone to go and inform their grandmother. When she inquired as to where they were being taken, a police officer replied, "We are taking you to the beach to kill you." Fernando's young son, Anjana, was dragged to a wall and struck about the forehead, face and stomach. Due to this mistreatment, he lost part of a tooth and his lip was split. When Fernando regained consciousness, he was inside the crime division of the Negombo police station, and water had been thrown over him. One police officer was shouting that this fellow had to be killed, and that the senior superintendent had approved it. Fernando was dragged out of the room and overheard an officer speaking over the phone to someone. "Sir, that is the thing I am writing now. This fellow who is half dead is in front of me." Later, after their release, all of the family sought medical treatment, and the medical reports confirmed their injuries. The medical report on the wife, in particular, enumerates several serious injuries. Despite complaints to the Human Rights Commission, the National Police Commission, and the Inspector General of Police, no police officer has been charged under the Convention Against Torture Act of 1994. There have been many complaints by local and international human rights groups, and there was also media coverage of this incident. However, there is allegation by the family and the human rights organizations, the police and the Sri Lankan authorities are covering up for suspects which allegedly include a senior officer. The family filed a fundamental rights application before the Supreme Court alleging torture, and the Supreme Court granted leave to proceed. While the case was pending, Mr. Fernando and his wife received direct threats to withdraw the fundamental rights case within 24 hours, or their whole family would be wiped out. Immediately, Mr. Fernando made complaints to the same authorities. The human rights organizations also appealed to these authorities and also to the Ministry of Disaster Management and Human Rights to intervene in order to protect these persons. Mr. Fernando spent a short time in hiding to avoid a possible assassination. However, when he returned home, he was assassinated in broad daylight on the 20th September 2008. To date, no one has been arrested for the murder. At the inquest, the family members stated that the only persons they suspect for this crime are the police officers against whom he had made complaints of bribery and torture. The observers stated that no serious inquiries have been conducted into the torture or the assassination.